Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the final race of the Busch Light Bracket Challenge where I go head to head against Joey Logano for $3 million. Whoever finishes better wins the Busch Light Bracket Challenge, as we have the Pepsi colors on our car this weekend, and we had two big announcements out of this weekend. Number one, Brad Keselowski has officially announced retirement at the end of this season. He finally makes it official. We already knew it was coming, of course, before the season even began, when he wanted to recruit me to his team. And speaking of that, we have had two back-to-back collisions with Keselowski, and actually kind of broke the news that he actually offered me a contract. Listen in as he was asked about myself before this weekend during his press conference.
I've offered him a ride with this team for next year, Bob. If he's going to drive like that, I might need to reconsider, of course. But as of now, the offer is still available to him.
So the offer is still currently available, and on top of that, of course, we had another announcement, or not necessarily announcement, but a reveal. The Denver Speedway track reveal. You see pictures of it on your screen. We will be tire testing there within the next couple of episodes. That's going to be very exciting as well. As you can see, actually avoiding an accident here in practice, put a halt on practice here now as we were getting ready to focus in on qualifying. So we have had a bit of a wave of momentum recently, of course. A couple of back-to-back runner-up finishes, of course, going against Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, and Dover, and unfortunately we came up short on both ends there. But we focus in on Michigan now. This is not going to be an easy race now. Usually a bit more difficult here, but we roll through 1 and 2, getting through the first series of corners pretty well, getting, of course, up to that outside wall and then down into turn 3. You just want to get right against that white line, throttle up as soon as you can, and open up the wheel on exit out of 4, down this front straightaway with a goal of a 38.957. I don't think we're going to beat it. No, we will not. It's a 39.157, putting us P19 here for the Firekeepers Casino 400. So some work to be done as we look at Chandler Smith, our Joe Gibbs teammate there on the same row of us there in P20. Kyle Larson on pole over Christopher Bell. Joey Logano, who's of course the lone driver against myself, remaining in the Busch Light Bracket Challenge. Rajan Caruth inside the top 10. Keselowski, one more chance to win at home. Can he do it today? Now, no Xfinity or Truck Series again in this weekend. We're going straight into Sunday action. Carson Osavar going to try and work his way from the back of the field, dead last in that JRM number 8. Let's get ready to roll.
We've made it to the finale of the Busch Light Bracket Tournament. Joey Logano and Gary Owen face off for $3 million today. Whoever finishes best wins it all.
This could go either way, Lee, but Logano looks to start with the advantage.
Let's see who comes out on top today.
Right, guys, we've found some speed lately. I don't see why we can't keep it up into today, so let's just stick with it.
100%, mate. Let's keep this momentum rolling.
Although we've had great speed the last couple of races, Kyle Larson continues to be dominant, and it is so hard to match the level of success of that number 5 currently now. I honestly consider Larson a Final Four lock at this point, especially if he wins the regular season championship. Races running out in the regular season, and we're underway here from Michigan. $3 million on the line, myself versus Joey Logano. Who is going to come out on top? Logano has been in incredible form recently, and he brings it into today as well, running P3 on the start of this race now, as we roll on this inside 3 wide already with Bubba Wallace and RCR rookie Jesse Love on the far outside now, and you can see as we go down this bank straightaway, losing some momentum being on that bottom line, but we fizzle out here just 2 wide, now clear actually briefly of that number 33 Whelen Chevrolet. Brad Keselowski all the way to the outside wall there through 3 and 4, wondering if there's a potential issue going on.
Something isn't right. Car feels really slow, guys.
You hear Keselowski on the radio. He's lost some track position already as I'm to the back of my teammate of Ty Gibbs. How about, of course, the Andretti Global driver Sammy Smith up here in the top 15 right now. Keselowski again to the far outside, just kind of staying out of the way. Already in trouble as he's lacking some serious speed. He's down to P16 side by side with the 2 of Todd Gilliland, who's trying to keep his playoff hopes alive as we roll down into turn 3. And again, that 6 car just electing to be out of the way. Ross Chastain takes the lead from Kyle Larson. Now, Chastain been very hot recently. I would say the best 3 drivers outside of myself in the last handful of races would be Kyle Larson, of course, followed by Chastain and Chase Elliott. Now, as we come through to lap 3, and we were back in front of the 23, and now making a pass on the 27 of Sammy Smith there for Andretti Global. Sammy Smith's had some solid runs for Andretti this season. Of course, he's got a rookie teammate, a couple rookie teammates, Nick Sanchez and Connor Zilish, he's going up against, and Smith is only in his 2nd season of Cup Series competition as he actually hits me in the back bumper in a turn 1, knocks me sideways. Bubba Wallace will go through on the inside. Larson back to the lead for now. Smith gets back around us on the outside. We drop to P17, and then we would try to get back up the inside of that 27 pilot Andretti Honda, and now trying to work our way back forward into the at least top 16. We've only gained a couple of positions in the first 5 full laps of this race. Stage 1, 15 laps. Caution is out, and it's actually for Nick Sanchez just behind, and that number 26 who's got a tire down. Caution is out. Not going to be the end of the day, however, for Sanchez. We'll get ready to go back racing here. Nobody coming into the pits. We'll be lining up behind the 23 of Bubba Wallace for this restart. One, of course, of the bubble drivers right now when we talk about the playoff situation. We're back racing here from Michigan, and Kyle Larson still out in front. Shane Van Gisbergen just behind, not looking very fast early on. Is he trying to work his way forward? That's the big question. He might have some good speed. He was so quick in Dover, was in position to win the race in Dover until that last caution came out and changed everything. And unfortunately, the New Zealander still finds himself in a bubble position in what's been an up and down season for the Trackhouse driver of that number 97. Meanwhile, his other teammates have 2 wins apiece. Kyle Busch in the 99, and now Ross Chastain in the 1, as it really seems like Trackhouse and Honda are starting to figure things out, as SVG was in position to win last episode in Dover. Unfortunately, just didn't work out for him. I expect to still see Shane Van Gisbergen make the playoffs. I look at the bubble, and I think SVG, Chris Buescher, they should be okay. Tyler Reddick is expected to return as soon as not next episode, but within the next 2 episodes, I should say. So next episode will be Gateway. I would expect to see Reddick back in the car following Gateway. So Hamlin in the car today, in the car for Gateway. Expect to see Reddick back by then, but there will be so few races left in the regular season, he'll find himself in a must-win scenario at that point for sure. As we come up on this 3-wide battle, Ty Gibbs on the inside, Chris Buescher in the middle, Kyle Busch on the outside. Chastain leads, but there's 4 cars under a blanket side by side up there in front of us. They're 4 wide for basically 3rd or 2nd at this point now, as we're side by side ourselves with Kyle Busch. Caution is out, and the stage comes to an end, and I couldn't actually find it in the replay. I'm assuming it was maybe an engine failure, so therefore some smoke was rolling out of a car, and I just didn't catch it. Ross Chastain wins stage number 1 as the caution will end the stage. Byron, Blaney, Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Larson, the top 6, as Larson dropped down a few spots. Everybody is going to be coming into the pits here. Nick Sanchez, is out of the race. I did get that wrong. Look at this replay of the ending coming to the stage. It was side by side for the lead, 4 wide just behind. That was incredible. Denny Hamlin getting the elbows out as we get ready to roll for stage number 2. P13, we gained 1 spot in the pit, so we found some track position late in that stage, and now we're back underway here. P13 behind the 98. Darlington winner of Chase Briscoe just in front of him. P11, that belongs to the number 48 to Overstock Chevrolet, Rajan Carruth, who continues to find a lot more speed and consistency over the last 4 or 5 races. Definitely watch out for him. He's going to have to win to make the playoffs after such a horrific start to the year, but he is certainly coming into his own. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Carruth win a race in his first full-time season of Cup Series competition. We got 27 laps here in stage 2. That's quite a bit of time to get things done here. Chastain, your stage 1 winner, he's gone all the way up the track and has opened the door for Ryan Blaney. I'm up the inside of the 54 Monster Energy Toyota Camry there. My teammate now has actually got into the back of the 99 of Kyle Busch, and now that pushes him forward. Joey Logano, the head-to-head competitor of myself for the $3 million here for this Busch Light Bracket Challenge. He's dropped now outside of the top 10, just in front of us now. Larson's going backwards, Byron as well. Positions really shuffling around as we clear the 54 and now take over that 13th position. A big run to the back of the 99 to the inside as we head down into turn number 3 and continuously just trying to work our way forward. Chase Elliott in the Coca-Cola red and white Chevrolet to the lead. He's looking for win 3 on the season if he can pull it off here today, as he is really starting to showcase in the later portion of the regular season that he is a threat, as Kyle Busch actually caught the outside wall there on the exit of turn 2. He loses the spot to Ty Gibbs now as we find ourselves in 12th to the inside here of the 98 of Chase Briscoe up front. Now Chastain back to the lead. We clear the 98 with ease. Into P11 we go. Kyle Larson runs in that 10th position now, but here comes 98 fighting back, and it wasn't over. He would get us again on the exit of turn 2. He's going to clear us down the spank straight away. So back down to P12 now as Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch lined up just behind myself now as we continue to follow this 98 of Chase Briscoe, but I'm kind of lacking some pace as these laps go on, and now Gibbs was able to get to my inside on the exit of turn 2. We're going to drag race down the spank straight away towards 3. Chastain, Elliott, your top 2, and now Gibbs goes through. We drop to P13 just in front of Kyle Busch. We shut the door on that Quaker State Honda as now Gibbs is starting to go forward. He passes the 98 of Briscoe as well. Can I maybe follow through here momentarily? No, the answer is no, because now Kyle Busch to my inside down the spank straight away, but we would use the drive from the 98 to re-clear the 99 into turn 3 and then take a lunge at Chase Briscoe. Couldn't quite clear him on the exit of turn 4, however. We would continue wheel to wheel all the way down the front straightaway through 1 and 2, and on the exit of 2, the 98 uses that outside to power bank around the outside and clear us. So down to 13th again as Kyle Busch as well would get around me on the outside. Here comes Zane Smith, who continues to impress for Front Row Motorsports in recent races and potentially a candidate to replace the departing Penske driver Ryan Blaney or Joey Logano. We still wait on news what's going on there. Zane Smith through. We drop down to P15. So would Briscoe be dropping down to 14th. He goes as how about Josh Berry coming up behind me in my former car, the number 16. He is starting to reel us in now. We're continuing to go backwards. I decided, okay, we need to make a pit stop. We can make it from here to the end of the stage. We will lose a lap as we nearly lose it there coming into the pits and also nearly speed, but we're going to come in for 4 tires, pitting a little bit earlier than anybody else, adding some grill tape, making an adjustment on the wedge from a 49.8 to a 50.0, trying to just tighten it up because it was starting to free up there on that long run, and I felt like that was the biggest problem I was currently facing. So a 15.1 second pit stop, we get back underway, and of course the number one thing we don't need is a caution coming out as we rejoin the track just behind Sammy Smith, who's having that top 20 run. He's running right there with the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Cars heading into the pit lane now. Sammy Smith heading into the outside wall. Crash, caution will fly. Tire failure is going to trap us 1 lap down, putting us in the free pass position, and my goodness, that is not what we wanted to see. Well, that was about the worst thing that could happen, huh?
Yep, sorry mate, we got time here, don't worry.
So an ill-timed caution. We will come into the pits again because we're taking the free pass, meaning we have to start at the back no matter what. So we'll get 4 tires on it, and this shuffles up things a little bit because some drivers were already in the pits when the caution came out. Sammy Smith is done for the day. 2 DNFs, 2 Andretti Global cars. Can Connor Zilish make it 3 for 3? We're back racing here from Michigan. JRM's Carson Hocevar has been having a really rough day in that 8 Camaro, so we'll see what he can do throughout the remainder of these final 10 laps in Stage 2. Ross Chastain back out in front. He's been looking quite strong early on. It's going to be difficult to beat that number 1 Trackhouse Honda as we continue to try and carve our way back through the field. You got the 15 of Christian Eckes back here. You as well got Ryan Preece, all these guys for Rick Ware Racing. There's the Legacy Motor Club's number 43, William Sawalich there having a bit of a rough run. Austin Cindric in the final Michigan race for Meyer Shank. Cindric's future still a bit uncertain where he's going to end up now as we are continuing to march our way forward. Lane Riggs in the field today in the number 36 for Front Row Motorsports, running just inside the top 30. Justin Haley not having a great day in that number 60 as we'll take it up the inside. 3 wide now, get up into P26 already. There's Connor Zillish, we would get past him. 3 wide with Chandler Smith as well as Austin Hill, who's already locked in the playoffs. Shane Van Gisbergen having a bit of a rough run here today. Kyle Larson now to the lead of this race. Larson started on pole. He's been leading a couple of different times. Doesn't seem to have the quickest car, but he's been able to claw his way back forward and pass that one of Chastain on a few occasions now, as we're working on passing the 34 of Eric Jones now. I think Eric Jones has a long-term future here at Front Row Motorsports in this career mode, and we'll see how it shapes up, but he's been having a solid season now as we pass him for P21. Brad Keselowski certainly not looking like he's going to find victory lane at Michigan throughout his NASCAR Cup Series career. This will be his final race. Maybe next season we'll see him make a part-time start in a couple of races. He's still seeking a Daytona 500 after having such an accomplished, of course, super speedway career. He was never able to win a 500, but I'm sure he would love to maybe as well compete in one more Michigan race maybe next season, just to give it one last shot. Denny Hamlin, who retired last season, of course, has done several races this season and has proven that you can run very strong after retirement as a caution is out, and it's actually John Hunter Nemechek with an engine failure that's brought out the caution. Stage 1 and 2 both end under caution here in Michigan. As you can see, we're making some more adjustments in the pit, so we climb back up into the top half of the field and we'll get ready to go bank racing for what will now be the start of the third and final stage, as now Harrison Burton there in front of us, P17 alongside, part-time for Wood Brothers Racing this season, having a solid run inside this top 20 now. We're back racing here. Of course, Burton full-time in the Xfinity Series for the Penske program, which has been struggling in their comeback season. Now they're working on figuring things out. I would expect to see them have a really strong season next time around, as you see this restart for stage 3 from the spotter stand. Ross Chastain has swept the first 2 stages. He leads away down this back straightaway. Kyle Larson in second place continues to extend his regular season point lead now, as we give a shot to the back of the 16 of Josh Berry into turn 3. Berry loses it, slides, saves it. A huge save from the colleague 16. Not the first time we've got together with a colleague car in our career. We go through into P18 now. Not exactly what I wanted to do, getting into the back of him. I thought we were just giving him a nice bump draft. Instead we wrecked him, but he does save it fortunately now. But of course that was 100% my responsibility right there. Chase Elliott to the lead of this race. He passes Chastain, passes Larson. Unfortunately for me in the Busch Light Bracket Challenge, $3 million on the line. We're going head to head with Joey Logano. He finds himself in the top 5. We really haven't had the speed to compete with the 22 of Logano here today, and it's looking like, unless something crazy happens, Logano is cruising his way to the Busch Light Bracket Tournament victory to score $3 million here at Michigan International Speedway now, as we try to roll into the top 15 and clear this number 98 of Briscoe. Can't quite do it. We've had a couple of battles with him already. He fights back on the outside. Into turn 3, however, throttling up hard. We get clear of the 98 now. Into the top 15 we go with 25 laps to go in this race. Continuing to carve our way forward now up the inside of the number 2. Todd Gilliland there is going to drop to the 15th spot. We'll take P14 from him. Rajah Caruth in the 48 is next, and we continue to just reel these guys in. We got Ty Gibbs just in front of us here now. Can't quite get alongside that 48, who's putting some pressure now on the inside of the 90 and 99 Quaker State Honda, but now a shot to the back of the 48. Didn't want to go with 3 wide into turn 1 on the inside. That's why I pushed the 48 there. Now was Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain there pretty well exchanging the lead back and forth, but we clear Kyle Busch. Chris Buescher trying to come forward as well. How about Zane Smith inside the top 10, having a great run for Front Row Motorsports, but we would get to see Ty Gibbs make a pass up the inside of that 38. He would drop down to P11, as we're now on the back of the 38 is where we're going to give him a shove down this back straightaway, coming to 20 to go. We'll dive up the inside, however, into turn 3, try to take that 11th position, and we get closer and closer to the top 10. Zane Smith, however, not going to make it easy, rides on our door, but into turn 1, we will clear that number 38, another spot gain. Can we get into the top 10 in the next few laps? Pit stops on the way as well. Smith gets into the wall behind us there, is going to lose a few spots now as Busher is on his way forward. My top 10 dreams kind of come to a halt because there goes Busher through, takes P11. He needs a good run. He just needs to keep, increasing his buffer in the playoff bubble. We haven't really seen many surprise winners recently, which has been helping him out, and same for Shane Van Gisbergen, as now here comes Briscoe, and once again we're starting to go in the wrong direction. Chase Elliott continues to lead. We're wheel to wheel with the 98 into turn number 3. Smoke pouring out of the side of the 16 of Josh Berry down the back straightaway, and the caution's gonna fly. Elliott, Chastain, Blaney, Larson, Logano, your top 5. Hamlin in P6 as he continues to impress. Everybody pits for 4 tires and fuel. We'll restart P12 on the outside of Chris Busher. We gain 1 spot in the pits. Unfortunately, we just haven't had the car quite capable of doing a whole lot here today from Michigan, but we're back underway and there's 14 laps to go in this race. A 2-mile D-shaped oval, as now we will get a chance to go up the inside, but I'm actually going to stay in line behind the 54 of Ty Gibbs, and immediately I realized I should have jumped down to the inside now. Logano 3 wide on the outside, same for our teammate of Christopher Bell as my other teammate Gibbs in the middle right there. Gonna get shuffled back though. He goes back to 2 wide behind the number 20 as we go side by side with Gilliland down into turn 3. Logano all the way to the outside wall. This is our maybe only chance to try and claw our way in front of the 22 of Logano to fight for the $3 million prize of the Busch Light Bracket Tournament now, as Ryan Blaney is out in front. We dive to the outside of the 54 there as he checks up on our nose now, side by side for P12 into turn number 1. The battle for the lead continues. It's Blaney, it's Hamlin, it's Chastain, Larson, and Elliott now as we exit turn 2. 13 to go. Logano using that outside line momentum keeps himself in good shape here now as we cross the stripe with 12 to go, and now all over the back of the 20, Ross Chastain back to the lead of this race, but it's short-lived because Denny Hamlin goes through to take the lead of this race. Now Denny Hamlin, can he return to victory lane as he is in front right now in the 9 of Chase Elliott directly behind him as they head down this front straightaway, as we have trouble. Connor Zilish into the outside wall, and it's going to be in fact 3 for 3 for Andretti Global. Maybe the worst day they've ever had here in the Cup Series. All 3 of their cars with failures, and it's going to be day over for the Andretti rookie of Connor Zilish. All 3 of their cars now out of this race, and that forces a late race restart where we're now only 1 row behind Joey Logano for a $3 million fight with less than 10 laps to go. Who is going to win it now? We've got a race to win, and we've got $3 million to win. 8 laps of racing to determine both outcomes. Now, Logano's got a bit of a buffer between himself and I. Into turn number 1, Denny Hamlin leads the way. Chase Elliott in prime position to maybe steal the lead and run off in the distance to get that 3rd win of the season. Chastain's been so strong all race long, swept the first 2 stages. What can he do? Now, as we have that run to the back of the 20 of Christopher Bell. I mean, right now, the best running Joe Gibbs Racing driver is at 20 in that about 10th, 11th position. Now we find ourselves 3 wide in a JGR sandwich. Now the whole team outside of Chandler Smith all fighting for P11, 12, and 13. Now as we're going to clear this 54, we'll take that opportunity to dive 3 wide up the inside, trying to keep the $3 million hopes alive. Hamlin continues to lead with 7 to go. We wash up the track. We're going to find ourselves 4 wide, lifting on the exit of turn 2. That's going to really diminish our hopes. We're bouncing off the 54, bouncing off the 98 as well. And now pressure from behind from Busch and Zane Smith into turn number 3. However, you're going to see the 54 get through on the bottom. We're going to try and follow through. Hamlin continues to cover that inside. Chase Elliott, however, into turn 1 would eventually get past him. Chastain down to about 4th. Larson to 3rd. We pass the 98, looking for an overtake on the 20 of Bell as well, but a contact right there on the exit of turn 2. Without a caution, it's over. We're not going to be winning $3 million. It's going to be going to Joey Logano, who's now well inside the top 10 and driving away. Speaking of driving away, as we clear Gibbs right there, Elliott is starting to open up a gap to the cars behind that are finding themselves in a side-by-side battle. He's opened up about a 3-car length gap over Denny Hamlin as we approach 3 to go, 3 wide behind us. Gibbs, Gilliland, Busch way up the track on the exit of turn 4, and here comes the 54 and the 2 to put the fight to us now. Busch couldn't go anywhere, so he has to just stay behind us now as we hit 3 laps to go. There's nothing we can do. Busch to our inside, we're fading quickly, and here comes Bubba Wallace as well as we drop to P14. Wallace has had some rough races recently, putting him in a rough position in the playoff picture now as we approach 2 laps to go. Chase Elliott is driving away. He's in control in these closing moments now as we fight with the 99, fight with the 2 laps to go here from Michigan. Joey Logano in complete control as the white flag is now waving for Chase Elliott. He has made it back to the start finish, hoping to see the next flag being the checkered flag now as we go up the inside of Kyle Busch one more time, trying to find any positions we can, and we know we've been defeated in the Busch Light Bracket Tournament no matter what happens now. Even if a caution comes out, maybe if the 22 crashes, however, that could change things, but that's just not going to happen. Busch with a huge run to the outside. He'll get a 2-for-1 special, getting around me, getting around Gilliland as well as we continue in 14th. Through 3 and 4 for the final time, Chase Elliott takes it in the closing laps, takes over Denny Hamlin, and he's going to get win number 3 on the season, and it's going to be Joey Logano beating myself head-to-head in the Busch Light Bracket Tournament for $3 million to the number 22 in Team Penske and Joey Logano. We cross the stripe for a bit of a disappointing P14 and do not back up the momentum that we were firing up on in the last couple of episodes. Elliott gets to celebrate, and we look at the finishing order. He actually held off Kyle Larson, who ends up P2, Blaney 3rd, Hamlin, Chastain your top 5. All of Hendrick Motorsports in the top 7. Rajah Caruth being P7, another great effort for him. Logano, Buescher, Bell your top 10. Corey Hyman inside the top 20. Keselowski in his final Michigan race, fresh off of announcing retirement in P19. And then, of course, our teammate of Chandler Smith, P21. SVG, P24, rough day for him. Lane Riggs in the part-time start in P28, and of course the DNFs at the bottom, all of Andretti Global for Honda. Connor Zilisch, Sammy Smith, Nick Sanchez all out. In the playoff standings, SVG continues in a tight position, the last driver in the playoffs now, but he's got a solid buffer over Todd Gilliland and Bubba Wallace, and of course Tyler Reddick gonna have to try and claw his way out after he returns from injury in the regular season standings, while Larson continues to run away with that over myself, Chase Elliott, Chastain, and others as we try to run him down, which we'll try to do next episode under the lights in Gateway from St. Louis. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.